No one saw his struggle. Not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't loud. He didn't post about it. He didn't talk about it. He didn't complain. He just carried it. Every day he smiled enough to look normal, enough to avoid questions, enough to survive conversations. But behind that calm face was a storm of responsibilities, fears, and silent prayers. People thought he was fine. He's strong, they said. He manages, they assumed. He doesn't seem stressed, they concluded. They were wrong. Strength had become his mask. Inside, he was tired, not just physically, but emotionally. Tired of being dependable, tired of being the one who never broke, tired of carrying weight without rest. But he kept going, because stopping wasn't an option. He had people depending on him, bills to pay, expectations to meet, and dreams, buried deep but still alive. At night, when the world slept, he finally breathed. That was when the thoughts came. How long can I keep this up? Does anyone see how hard I'm trying? Does it even matter if no one notices? Those questions didn't need answers. They needed patience. He remembered a time when he was different, more open, more hopeful, more expressive, but life had taught him something early. Not everyone understands struggle, and not everyone needs to. So he learned silence, not the kind that gives up, but the kind that endures. Each day looked the same from the outside. Wake up, work, responsibilities, sleep. But inside, every day was a test. Some days his motivation disappeared. Some days his confidence felt fragile. Some days he questioned everything. Yet still he showed up. Not perfectly, not energetically, but consistently. He learned to move even when he didn't feel like it. That's when growth began. Not the visible kind, the internal kind. His discipline grew quietly. His patience deepened silently. His faith strengthened privately. No applause, no recognition, no encouragement, just effort. Once, someone asked him casually, "Why don't you talk much about what you're going through?" He smiled and said, "Because Allah already knows." That answer wasn't poetic, it was honest. He believed something deeply, something that kept him standing when everything felt heavy. If Allah sees it, it matters, even if people don't. He began to realize that not all struggles are meant to be shared. Some are meant to shape you. And shape him they did. He became calmer under pressure, more thoughtful with decisions, less reactive to negativity. While others spoke loudly about their plans, he worked quietly on his character. While others searched for validation, he searched for sincerity. One night, after a particularly exhausting day, he sat alone and whispered, "Ya Allah, you know." That was it. No long speech, no dramatic request, just trust. He didn't ask for ease, he asked for strength. And slowly, almost invisibly, strength arrived. Slowly, things began to change. Not in the way people imagine change, not with sudden success or loud victories, but with clarity. He noticed that situations which once overwhelmed him no longer did. Problems still came, but they felt lighter, not because they were smaller, but because he was stronger. That's what silent struggle does. It doesn't make life easier, it makes you capable. One day, he faced a decision that would have broken him before. Pressure from all sides, expectations, fear of consequences. This time, he didn't panic. He paused. He reflected. He prayed, and then he acted with calm conviction. That moment told him something important. He had grown, not in status, not in wealth, but in wisdom. People began to notice his composure. They couldn't explain it, they just felt it. When problems arose, eyes turned to him.
When decisions were needed, his opinion mattered. He didn't seek leadership. Leadership found him, because true leadership is built in silence. There were moments when he wanted to tell his story, to explain the nights he cried alone, the days he felt empty, the weight he carried without help. But he didn't. Not because his story wasn't important, but because it had already done its work. Allah had seen every step, every restrained emotion, every unspoken pain, every choice to continue when quitting felt easier. And Allah never forgets. The help came in subtle ways. A door opened where he didn't expect one. A conversation changed direction at the right time. A delay protected him from harm he couldn't see. He realized something powerful. Allah's help often looks like normal life, but it isn't. It's precision. It's mercy. It's timing beyond understanding. One evening after finishing his responsibilities, he sat quietly and reflected. What if people never knew what he went through? What if his struggle remained invisible forever? The thought no longer hurt, because he understood something deeply. Not all victories are meant to be witnessed. Some are meant to be rewarded. He remembered a verse that now lived in his heart. Indeed, Allah is gentle with his servants. Surah Ash-Shura 42:19. Gentle. That word explained everything. Allah hadn't pushed him violently. Allah hadn't rushed him harshly. Allah had guided him gently through struggle. Years later, he stood in a place of stability. Not luxury, not fame, but balance. He could breathe. He could plan. He could rest without guilt. And rest, he realized, is a form of gratitude. One day someone said to him, "You're lucky. Things worked out for you." He smiled politely. They didn't know. Luck didn't carry him. Patience did. Faith did. Consistency did. And above all, Allah did. That night he prayed with a heart full of shukr, not because life was perfect, but because his struggle had meaning. He learned the final lesson that completed his journey. When no one sees your struggle, Allah is watching closely. When no one applauds your effort, Allah records every step. When the world stays silent, Allah speaks through results. And those results may not always be what you expect, but they will always be what you need.